¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. Cosmic Seeking, Alio, Derry Bennett, welcome. International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. That's every day. Good day, everyone. Yellow King. Echo Wrestle Dragon. Happy Wednesday indeed. Welcome. All right, folks. Today, I'm a bit pressed for time, but I think we have so many things to go through. I don't even know where to start. How's it going, everybody? I mean, I guess we should start with like a... I guess we should start with a good meme story, right? Let's start there. For those of you who forgot or who I guess didn't notice or didn't or you know like wasn't paying attention, I guess Donald Trump attempted to shill for some NFTs, which were absolutely hilarious digital images of him, And it turns out, just like with all of these crypto and NFT things, it turns out that, yeah, that too was one big con to get money from his supporters that he keeps fleecing. So, yeah, I mean, keep giving this guy your money, I guess. Did I not say? Yeah, this is hilarious. Yeah, I saw the video, or I saw the link, so we're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at that. It to Genti. Imagine giving money to peeps. Well, imagine giving money to a con man. It's one thing. To just give money to somebody. It's another thing to like knowingly give money for an NFT, something you don't own. But okay. Is it a good thing that MAGA is so predictable? I don't know. I don't know if I would say that it's well, I guess they're a little bit predictable. But this is more of like to laugh at them. That's it. That is the purpose of going over this story, is just to laugh at them. That's it.
On several different occasions over the last year, Donald Trump has released a series of
To be fair, I would have voted for Trump just to accelerate the collapse of the U.S. So you're willing to like fuck over a bunch of people in that process? Cool, dude. Awesome.
NFT, non-fungible token, digital trading cards. Trading cards that have depicted him as a rock star playing an electric guitar while riding a motorcycle. Pictures.
Alio with the 10 biddies, thank you so much. The collapse of the U.S. empire would be a good thing for the world. I guess, but also you have to understand that like actual people live here. You know? So it's kind of like, are you willing to be like, yeah, you know, I'm okay with the Republican Party running things. I'm okay with like all the draconian legislation that's happening. Fuck it. Right? I thought he would be selling his apartments in Trump Tower on the moon, yeah. Superhero status saving the world, yep. Super chump.
Of him as an astronaut, pictures of him. What else do we have? Serving burgers and hot dogs at a barbecue.
Hold on, stop. There isn't much difference between the parties or any feasible president when it comes to the empire. Nah, fuck off. Nah. Like, when it comes to, like, hold on. Just to be clear, like, when it comes to, I understand what you're saying in terms of, like, corruption, but, like, man, there's a serious difference between, like, what happens when a certain party comes into power. Does that make sense? I mean, my family is banned from going into the US, so I can't really go there. So wait, so why would you even make that comment?
As a king.
I'm sorry, I'm getting all this confused. Hold on, that's another person. I'm sorry, Simulacra. Jesus.
On a playing card and various other things that Donald Trump, the loser, would never in his real life.
My point is that I just don't see I just don't see it. Domestically, there are differences. Yes. Fair point. My point is that we must be very careful because I know that the Democratic Party is not your friend. I know that the Democratic Party sucks. I know that the Democratic Party is corrupt. Yes, and I know that the Democratic Party serves one master. Let's be clear, and that is capitalism. I understand that. However, I think that we're not really in a good position at the moment. So I just want to be very clear as to like what strategic decisions that we have to make. I'm saying that neither party will hasten the end of the empire more or less than the other. Okay, that's a fair point.
Actually be able to do, so they put out these fake cards trying to make him seem like he's cooler than he is, and they sold each and every one of them for $99 a piece. And Trump made millions of dollars off of it. Like, immediately, these things did sell out very quickly because a fool and their money are soon parted. Well,
True.
Something very interesting happened with those NFTs this past weekend. Because on Saturday, the value of those NFTs dropped to $1.04 a piece.
$1.04 a piece. Can you imagine? So you spent $100 from for some fake image because you don't physically own it. You don't physically own it. Just to be left with something that's worth literally just 4 dimes over an hour. 4 dimes over a dollar. Join Taz's live show. I don't know who Taz is, nor do I give a shit. To me, as an Italian, I don't care if they're Republicans or Democrats. Fascists will still get some good US dollars, and we will still get effed. The characterization of the Democratic Party being like a fascist party versus the Republican Party kind of makes it seem like they're both the same. And no, I don't think so. I don't agree with that characterization. I don't agree with that characterization.
A 99% loss in value for these Donald Trump NFTs. Now, it's important to point out that Donald Trump, once he sells them to these people, he is in no danger of losing money. He sold them. He does not have them anymore. He got his millions. He's just fine. It's the idiots that purchased them that watched on Saturday as these things went from being traded at about $200 to being worth $1. A single dollar. You paid $100 for this thing that is now worth just $1, which might be a worse investment than Enron stock at this point. But don't worry, folks.
That's actually hilarious. But they received a beautiful picture of their god. True. Fascist terrorists in my country were supported financially by both Reagan and JFK. So the U.S. has had poor foreign policy throughout its basically post like World War II. Essentially, U.S. foreign policy has been disastrous. That doesn't mean that they're both parties are like fascists. Just to be clear, right? Yeah, Operation Gladio. It's not poor foreign policy. It was amazing for the U.S., not for Italy. Well, no, for poor foreign policy is when people get hurt. Poor foreign policy is overthrowing governments. Poor foreign policy is imposing your will on other nations. It's an investment. Their great grandkids will own an NFT of the first president to go to prison. True. I didn't think about it that way. My mom is Cuban, but even though the U.S. policy does not understand Latin politics, still supports the U.S.
Things bounce back a little bit, but overall, these NFTs have dropped from a high in February of close to $1,400 a piece while trading on the NFT market. And now they're back down to between $100 and $200. So they're no longer worth just $1, but they're really not actually worth any more than these individuals traded or paid for them, excuse me. They're trading actually below the value, even though they're valued again between $100 and $200. Most offers for them on the NFT market are lower than $100. So, as I said, a fool and their money are soon parted. But
That's
here's
hilarious.
the kicker on this entire story. Even though over the week,
The Berlin Wall and Soviet Union fell as a result of U.S. foreign policy. Yes, partially. I think that the U.S. foreign policy had a hand in that. That's for sure. And Gorby wanted Pizza Hut. I mean, Come on, who doesn't want Pizza Hut?
weekend, they dropped down to $1 and they have, rebounded since then. Trump will do it again because there's no risk in it for him at all. He's not investing in it. The money he gets is not tied to how these things are trading online. He sells the thing, he gets the money, he's out of that transaction completely. It's the morons who go out there who don't have money to spend on these things, but they do it anyway because they believe they're supporting Donald Trump. They're the ones losing everything. And I do sometimes teeter-totter back and forth between actually kind of feeling bad for these folks and wanting to also laugh at them for being such gullible morons.
At this point in time,
because let's face it, that is
like at this point in time, the only thing you can do is to laugh at them. At this point in time. At this point in time, the only thing that you could do is laugh at them because, really? How many years? How many years have we been at this and you're still giving this professional con man money? I mean, no sympathy here. Especially given the circumstances of where we are right now. Especially given the circumstances of where we are right now. Sympathy for people that want to continue to give this guy more money. Only to be conned. Or only to be conned again and again and again and again and again. I mean, the dude is being... The dude got indicted. The dude got indicted for election funds, messing around with election funds. And people still donate to his election. It just blows my mind. This guy is literally being investigated for not for improperly using election funds. They're rewarding him by giving him more election money. You can only blame Trump for so long. Yeah, obviously, no, this doesn't take any this doesn't take any responsibility from Trump. I'm just saying, man, at what point, do we cross over to feeling bad? To just laughing? Well, yeah, that time is gone, long gone. Especially given the fact that these people would rather see their political opposition dead. It's there's only so much sympathy to go around. The UK voted for Brexit. The USSR states voted to remain in the Union. You got me there because I'm not very well versed in that history. I thought it was just a Soviet Union version of Brexit. You guys are costing us too much, so we're going to focus on Mother Russia. Gotcha. Do you think apartheid in South Africa came to an end because of UN foreign policy? US foreign policy? I think some of it had to do with that. Most of it, I'm seeing a lot of had to do with also the UN sanctions and whatnot. Wow. sheesh. The more you read about this, God. Horrifying. Jesus. Nigel Farage admitted that Brexit has failed. I mean, like, there wasn't, like, you know, an entire, like, swath of people saying, like, you know, maybe we shouldn't do that. If only someone had warned them. 56% of Republicans in 2020 were over the age of 50. Jeez. Anyways. Yeah, this is off topic. All right, let's focus, folks.
That's what they are. We got to be real about this, folks. We can't sugarcoat it. I'm not trying to bring any of them over to my side. They're terrible people, and I don't want to be allied with them. So I guess I'm really not teeter-tottering all that much. It's sad that some of the folks buying these things don't really have the money to spend on them, but they do it anyway. That sucks for you personally, financially. But at the same time, if you haven't caught on to the fact yet that Donald Trump is ripping you off, that he is nothing more than a two-bit con man, then I'm sorry, but you deserve all the financial discomfort that comes along with falling for his cons over and over and over again. Hey, everyone.
True. And like the same thing with that, the fleecing continues, folks. The same thing with like letters, love letters from Trump or something like that, or love letters to Trump. Oh, man. Yep, grifter's gonna grift. All right, so yesterday we were looking for the clip from Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. And this is what we got. Thank you, Alio, for bringing this up. Oh, this plays in the Twitter. Okay, cool. I don't even have to. All right.
To be given a chance to live as free Americans instead of murder. You think this is funny? Ms. Spitalnik, is this funny to you? Is babies being murdered in the womb?
Is babies being literal babies just being murdered left and right, okay? Literal babies being murdered in the womb, okay? Things that happen. Things that happen all the time, okay?
Funny to you because you're smirking and laughing at me right now.
As everybody should when you make comments like when there are literal babies being murdered. Yes. Yes, you should be immediately laughing at the absurdity. She needs to speak to the manager of your womb, True. Marjorie, could Marjorie Taylor Greene just go over the gym and sleep with people and take Tucker's place? I don't think she'd be like a good political pundit. Who would sit and like, she's so uncharismatic. Who would sit here and listen to her for an hour-long program? Can you imagine if she had to do like Tucker's program? I don't think anybody could stand that.
What's not...
How could billionaire Elon with several high-tech companies could be a grifter, or President Trump who's a businessman? Let's just hate success. True! Ah, yeah, that's it right there.
Funny are the black people and Hispanic people and Jewish people and Muslim people who have been murdered in synagogue, in church, in supermarkets, in mosques by white supremacists.
It was a House hearing on extremism, and after Marjorie Taylor Greene got corrected...
Yeah. absolutely fucking like wrecked. Good on her, Miss Spittlenick. Good on her, because like again, doesn't matter what your feelings are. The fact of the matter is that white supremacists present the most lethal and persistent threat when it comes to domestic terrorism in the US. Doesn't matter what you feel. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. That is what that's what the facts are. Miss Spittlenick spitting fire, yep.
And laughed at, she went into an extreme verbal tailspin.
Are you aware that all colored people are murdered? That is a fact. That every single
What? This is again. This is a meeting or a hearing about supposedly extremism. So why not address the most persistent and lethal threat? Are you aware that all kinds of people get murdered? Yes. But we're talking about, like, yeah, she did. She did. We're talking about, we're referencing a hearing on extremism.
color person has been murdered. That's not unusual.
We've all been murdered?
Oh, man.
What? Come on, Marge. Spit it out.
It's not just that people of color are murdered. White people are murdered too.
Oh, no. Again, the hearing is about addressing, supposedly, this is what the Republican committee hearing is about. Supposedly, it's about addressing extremism, not about addressing the crime of murder. Because murder is murder. That happens to every, whatever. That's not what's being addressed here. Best advertisement against going to Georgia. The quiet person out loud. Yep. Marjorie Taylor Greene. All lives matter, both sides. Nonsense. Yep. But this is a complete pivot from what we're supposed to be talking about. Because if we actually start addressing the issue, that may become a problem for her.
Murder is not just for minorities. That may be a shock to you.
No, nobody has said otherwise. The purpose of the hearing is to address extremism. That's literally the purpose of why you decided to do this. See, what she originally tried to make a whole brouhaha. She originally tried to make this about left-wing extremism. But because, it turns out that there's like so far and few between like left-wing violent actions by left-wing extremism. It's so fucking hard. And the incidents are so far and few between that now we're talking about like abortion, and apparently everyone gets murdered. Okay. Addressing extremism. Wait, was Marjorie Taylor Greene testifying? A witness testifying why she is an extremist? Yeah, because if we actually start addressing the problem, it might get a little dicey for her. That's exactly my point, Wolf Glenn. If this is about addressing, extremism, then if we actually start talking about the problem, then it might get a little dicey for her. The hearing was not about abortion. Yeah, no. This is anything but to actually address supposedly the real purpose of this hearing. Because the facts don't really paint too well for somebody like her.
Because you seem to dive deeply into all kinds of misinformation.
Like the dangerous left-wing extremism of wanting healthcare and free education. True. That is very dangerous. That is very dangerous.
And seem to be uninformed yourself. And if you apparently care about human rights and you care about studying extremism, let's have a little talk about extremism, shall we?
Oh boy. I don't think she really wants to go down that route.
I think that's important because that's what this hearing is all about. I'd like to inform you, or maybe you don't know, maybe you do know, I doubt it. You mostly care about white supremacists and white wing extremism.
Right wing. Dangerous free school lunches. True. You know, when you start feeding kids, it gets dangerous. All right, so let's go from 2019, not too far, but when Trump was in power. You sure this is not an SNL bit? No, it's the Republican Party. S894 to authorize dedicated domestic terrorism office within the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Justice and FBI to analyze and monitor domestic terrorist activity and require the federal government to take steps to prevent domestic terrorism. The findings. This act may be cited as the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2019. Congress finds the following. White supremacists and other far-right-wing extremists are the most significant domestic terrorist threat facing the U.S. On February of 2019, a Trump administration U.S. Department of Justice wrote in a New York Times op-ed that white supremacy and far-right extremism are among the greatest domestic threats, security threats facing the United States. Regrettably, over the past 25 years, law enforcement at both federal and state levels have been slow to respond. I wonder why. Put a pin in that one. Killings committed by individuals and groups associated with far-right extremist groups have risen significantly. On April of 2017, 2 years before that, a Government Accountability Office report on the significant and lethal threat posed by domestic violent extremists explained that since September of 2001, domestic violent number of fatalities caused by domestic violent extremists have ranged from 1 to 49 in a given year. The report noted fatalities resulting from attacks by far right-wing violent extremists has exceeded those caused by radical Islamist violent extremists in 10 of the 15 years. Yeah. Yeah, just chew on that for a second. Yeah, and we're the same in the 3 years since September 12th of 2001. Of the 85 violent extremist incidents that resulted in deaths in September 12th of 2001, far right-wing violent extremist groups were responsible for 62 or 73%, while radical Islamists were responsible for 27%. Which I would also say that, like, I know, like, what we're talking about when we talk about, like, far right-wing extremist groups, but, like, radical Islam, like, these fundamentalists are, like, literally indistinguishable in their ideology. But whatever. Between both of these groups, that's where 90... That's where the two biggest threats are. With far-right extremist groups taking 73% of the cake. In unclassified May 2017 joint intelligence bulletin from the FBI and Department of Homeland Security found that white supremacist extremists pose a persistent threat of lethal violence and that white supremacists were responsible for 49 homicides and 26 attacks from 2000 to 2016, more than any other domestic extremist movement. Yeah. So you want to talk about, like, addressing extremism? Let's talk about that. How about that for facts? And they list out All these different incidents. Look at this. In November of 2018, the FBI released its annual hate crime incident report, which found that in 2017, hate crimes increased by approximately 17%, including a 23% increase in religion-based hate crimes, 18% increase in race-based crime, and a 5% increase in crimes directed at LGBTQ individuals. A total number of reported hate crimes rose for the third consecutive year. The previous report found that in 2016, hate crimes increased by almost 5%, including 19% rise against in hate crimes against Muslims, American Muslims. Additionally, hate crimes motivated by religious bias in 2016, 53% were anti-Semitic. Huh. That's interesting. Hey, remind me, what happened in 2016? Huh. Anyways, much of 2015 increase came from a 66% rise in attacks on American Muslims and a 9% rise in attacks on American Jews. In all three reports, race-based crimes were most numerous, and those crimes often targeted African Americans. How about January 6th? Yeah. the culmination of all this, yeah. I mean, like, it just goes on and on and on. So please, spare me. And Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, and the other 25 pundits from the right wing supporting Trump and anti-vax COVID videos, including Rudy and Lindell. Yeah, I mean, like, all these stochastic terrorists. All these stochastic terrorists are partially responsible. What you say and how you say it matters. Especially if you have such large audiences like Tim Pool, Steven Crowder.
But there's quite a pattern of left-wing violent protests on college campuses today.
Oh, true, dude. I remember the violent. Did that even make the news? Okay. What is she talking about? What is she talking about?
Miss Gaines here was a victim of it. Do you support what they did to Miss Gaines? These trans terrorists chasing her into a room?
Trans terrorist. Oh my God. Rudy selling pardon for $2 million. Yep. Trans terrorists. I mean, she's like a member of Congress who has the ability to, like, you know, show and what's it called? Document these things. Where is the video of that? Because, like, you have to understand, like, to call somebody a terrorist, or to call, I guess, a group of people terrorists, there's a very specific criteria.
Do you support their movement?
I am absolutely sorry that Ms. Gaines felt threatened and unsafe while she was on a college campus, and that's not acceptable. But again, the statistics tell us that when it comes to politically motivated violence...
Yeah, like, okay, so back in reality, because, like, you know, you can try to, like, distract all you want, but, back in reality where a good chunk of us, hopefully, still live, we accept facts. And the facts are that, yeah, white supremacy is indeed the overwhelming responsible domestic terrorist threat. It's just that simple. Again, the fact of the matter is that, and you can feel about it all types of way, but it doesn't change reality.
2022, every single murder was committed by a right-wing extremist.
Every single murder in America was committed by a right-wing extremist.
No. Listen again. That's not what she said. When we're talking about politically driven, in other words, another way of saying it, terrorism, when it comes to violence and intimidation with the pursuit of political aims, i.e. terrorism, that's what she's talking about. This meeting is about extremism. This meeting is about extremism. Listen again.
Wing extremist.
Every single murder in a
College campus, and that's not acceptable. But again, the statistics tell us that when it comes to politically motivated violence,
i.e. terrorism,
in 2022, every single murder was committed by a right-wing extremist.
Every single murder in America was committed by a right-wing extremist.
Every single politically motivated
yeah,
murder.
like again, she didn't say every single murder, period. She is talking about politically motivated, in other words, extremism. Like that's the whole point of this fucking meeting or hearing. That's the whole point.
Murder was committed by a right-wing extremist.
Are you sure about that?
I am.
Are you aware that the Tennessee
Are you aware that the Tennessee shooter was a leftist?
shooter just recently identified as a man and she was a biological woman? Was she a right-wing extremist as well?
Young lady's time has expired. I'll let
Again, being a trans person is not the same as being right or left. Hello, Blair White. Okay? Being a trans person does not mean automatically you're left wing. First of all. Second of all, for the third time, the topic at hand is extremism. If that Texas shooter had some politically motivated political motivations, it would be one thing, and then we would have to find out what those political motivations were. Okay, a person who decides to go on a random killing spree because they idolize school shooters, that has nothing to do with the topic at hand here, which is political extremism. Also, this tragedy happened this year, not in 2022, because 2023 hasn't finished yet. So, okay. So she's citing data from all of 2022, not this year.
allow the witness to answer the question.
So that was a shooting that happened in 2023.
Oh, man.
There is no
Okay.
evidence as to what ideology motivated that shooting.
Yep. Like, damn, dude. Nice try. Oh my god. It's just like it's so fucking like sad and pathetic that like these people know that if they actually had to address the issue, it would like look really, really freaking bad on them. They know if they actually had to get down to the nitty gritty of what exactly is at the bottom of like political extremism and who has the more propensity for violence. Yeah, she knows she can't really go down that road. She knows. She knows because then like the facts come out and we have to face reality.
And what we do know is that cisgender males are responsible for the vast majority of mass shootings.
Period. Never mind motivation aside. Never mind motivation aside. Period.
This country.
I'm sorry, I don't know what a cisgender male is. There's only two genders.
Oh my god. What a fucking clown.
It's male and female. That would be that. So no one knows what a cisgender male is. It's a made up.
No one knows, dude. Nobody.
Unfortunately,
idea.
Actually, it's not made up. It's an adjective commonly used in the medical and mental health community. Cisgender refers to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender corresponds with their birth sex. So a person who
Like,
was
there's
born
no
as a...
like. Listen, I get that it's good that they're trying to like obviously correct this, but like, there's no point, dude. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't give a shit. She knows this. She knows this.
male and identifies as a man is a cisgender man. It's not complicated unless you are Marjorie Taylor Greene, and everything she spoke about on this day seemed to be complicated and turned into a train wreck.
Just while we've been sitting in this committee room having this hearing today about left-wing extremism and violence.
Like, the whole point was to try to, like, make up this fucking, like, boogeyman. But really, like, again, if we really actually start to look at the actual problem of extremism in this country, the reality is it's going to look really fucking bad for Republicans. Because it's them. It's them. And
Literally.
she's just getting fucking wrecked left and right.
As we were being gavelled in, we experienced some left-wing extremism of our own.
Oh yeah, dude. True. All right. Show us, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
On the second floor of this building, while we've been in here, the Center for Popular Democracy invaded our office building this afternoon.
Invaded.
To push their extreme agenda on everything from climate.
Like, wait a minute. Does she not? Does she just like not know what the word extreme, like extremist, like violence means? So, like, protesters went in and protesters went in and started yelling at, like, Congress people to do something about a lot of these problems, like climate change. And that's left-wing violence. Oh yeah, dude. True. Left-wing violence is when you ask your government to fucking, like, address the climate crisis. Got it. Gotcha. Hey, Surfer McGrady, how's it going? Yeah, left-wing violence and left-wing extremism is when people go to the Capitol and ask for Congress to do something about fucking climate crisis. Gotcha.
To the debt ceiling.
Oh, yeah, dude. Left-wing extremism is when leftists come into the Capitol to talk about, like, the debt ceiling. True. You know what? True.
Approximately a dozen were arrested while we were sitting.
Oh, man, dude. The violence. Oh man, the violence. The scores of violence. I came here to chew bubblegum and to be grumpy about climate change, and I know coming good for the climate. Oh, man, yeah, we've got a couple of those articles. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get there. Left-wing violence is CRT. It literally means, like, I guess anything that I don't like, because apparently a dozen protesters. So let me get this straight. A dozen protesters who she couldn't even, like, name a single act of violence, because if not, you best believe that she would be she would be like talking about this nonstop. That entire hearing would only be about her describing the fucking violence that happens. But she can't, because it didn't happen. There was no violence. But she has to format this and will it into existence by saying that a dozen people who are protesting, who are asking Congress to do something about fucking climate change, the climate crisis, that now has to be willed into existence as some kind of left-wing violence extremism. So let me get this straight. That's your version of, like, because this is phenomenal right here. So that's her that's her version of what left-wing violence is. However, when far-right extremists, insurrectionists go and literally, like, destroy the Capitol, assault police officers, had plans to have quick reaction forces with guns. 5 people, if I got that right, 5 people dead. 1 person shot by Secret Service or the police, Capitol Police. And those, let me get this straight. Those are tourists, right? Those are tourists. Those are peaceful protesters. Those are the peaceful protesters, patriots, political prisoners, as she's called them. Gotcha. Makes sense. I mean, like, just think about that. Like, the juxtaposition of what she considers, left-wing extremist violence is when people go into the Capitol and demand action on the climate crisis versus people actually, like, destroying the Capitol and fucking, like, performing an insurrection. That's okay. She's talking about the January 6th. No, like, literally people right now, or when this happened, the pipe bombs that were found. That's true. While she was holding this hearing about left-wing extremist violence, protesters were, like, in the Congress asking for change, asking for action on the climate crisis. That's what was happening while she was having this hearing on left-wing extremism. Sorry, folks, my voice is, like, shot. She's whitewashing the assault on the Capitol. Yeah, she's not going to talk about that. Because if you want to talk about serious, like, actual, like, no, on a serious note, no memes. If she actually wanted to address the problem of political, like, violence and political extremism that's leading to violence, she needs to look at a big mirror. She needs to look at a big mirror. I wonder who shot up the electrical substations. I wonder who. Big mystery. Tucker started this trend. McCarthy sent him exclusive tapes just for that purpose. Yeah, exactly. Why else would you give exclusive access to, like, a known far-right propagandist? If you were truly, like, interested in this, in the sake of transparency, if you were truly, like, interested in for the sake of transparency, you would just release it to the public. Why would it need to be? Why would it need to be filtered through a far right propagandist? Unless unless you knew it was kind of fucked and you needed a far-right propagandist to fucking massage this shit. I'll give Musk some credit. It almost worked to distract it from the dumpster fire that was his Twitter acquisition. Yeah, I mean, like, it's so funny because, like, once people... Like, this is one of the first questions that I had. This is one of the questions that I had. If it's the same question, if Musk was really interested, was actually interested about, like, transparency and what was going on in Twitter, then why did I need to hear it? Then why did I need to hear it from other people's... why did I need it? Why did I need to hear it from his handpicked funnels and filters? Essentially, think about it. Why did I need to hear it from his own like handpicked filters, instead of just releasing it to the public and let the public say, "Oh, well, this is what's going on," and release the whole thing? If he was really interested in the whole like Twitter files transparency. Why am I hearing it through his handpicked filters instead of just like making a whole like receipt dump, and then you can go through it and then make decisions for yourself? Ego. True. Because the Twitter files is just simply like a puff piece. That's it.
In this hearing room. Thankfully, my staff brought over pictures to share with you all.
Oh,
this
yeah.
happened right here in the rotunda.
Look at all that left-wing violence. Can we blow that up? Computer, enhance. Show me the violence. Yeah, famous movie line from the dictator Charlie Chaplin. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave others. My freedom ain't your freedom, buddy. True. Computer, enhance this violence. Show me.
Of the Cannon Building while we were sitting here in this hearing, having this hearing on left-wing extremism. I mean, you kind of can't even make this up.
There are peaceful protests and arrests in the halls of Congress every week, but...
Yeah, and again, the acts of violence that she's describing is people protesting, which, I mean, they may be far left, they may not be. I don't even know, because like everything that she says is bullshit. The point being is that these people are there to protest and ask Congress to have action on the climate crisis. That's what that was about. Does she think those glasses make her look smarter? I don't know. Let's show the one from the January 6th now, please. Yeah. You want to talk about fucking domestic terrorism? Like, you want to talk about political extremism? If I wanted to hit it home, I'd show that building on fire from a couple of years back, or Chaz. That's weak sauce. She's not even using the good material. Yeah, but like, that you can't even compare. You can't even compare. The hearing is not about left-wing extremism, it's about terrorism. Yeah, I mean, she made it about left-wing terrorism. I don't even know if that was the original part, now that you mention it. Carpet Bags, how's it going? How's it going? What's happening, y'all? Oh, just, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's lazy even in her dishonesty. Yeah, because the people who she's speaking to don't give a shit. The people that she's speaking to don't give a shit. And like, before you got here, I was even saying, like, do you know how like it's so far and few between the incidents of like left-wing motivated like violence? I mean, you have to really dig, okay? You have to really dig. Because the truth of the matter is that, well, there's just no comparison. There's just literally no comparison. Like, it didn't even show up as like a big blip. When the FBI made the reports, when Department of Homeland Security made the reports, and we went over through different years through different years. The overwhelming amount is just far right. It's just far right domestic terrorists, all right? That's it. So much so that even in 2022, as she cited earlier, as the guest cited earlier, all the murders that were involving politically motivated, that involved political motivations were all far right. They were all far right, all of them in 2022. Those terrorists wanting people to have housing and food and healthcare, how dare they? True. In this case, these left-wing domestic terrorists wanted action on the climate crisis. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Yep, it's pure confession and projection. Yep, classic. FBI released a report on main source of extremism, and yep, it's right-wing domestic terrorism. Yeah, we went over the whole, like, there's, like, look at all, like, line of receipts going back from years. Going back from years. To 2012, 2014, 15, 17, 18, 19. I mean, like, it just keeps going. It's gaslighting your own electorate, whitewashing the insurrection. Well, yeah, I mean, of course, they can't, like, if we really get down to the nitty-gritty about, like, actual political extremism, it's quite clear. The picture couldn't be clearer. The picture couldn't be clear as to who's responsible. Anyone want a PDF? Yeah, you feel free to drop anything you want in chat when it comes to material. People don't get into the nitty-gritty. It's about invoking an emotion. She's doing it well, and that's why I hate her. Yeah, but, like, the only emotion she's invoking in me is rage for being so dishonest. Otherwise, she wouldn't be in the spotlight for this many years. Yeah. Bob, Commander, how's it going? It has been a minute and a half.
Go on.
Here they are being arrested by Capitol Police.
Yeah, look at these fucking
we really
domestic
appreciate
terrorists.
their work.
Look at them. Look at them.
Here they are being loaded into
What?
the van.
I really appreciate their work. Was she saying the same thing during the this is like literally 1984, folks. Like simultaneously saying that, like, damn, good work, Capitol Police, when you arrest, like, you know, protesters that you paint as left wing, for asking action on the climate crisis. Good job, Capitol Police. Capitol Police on January 6th, bad Capitol Police. Yeah, like I said, Conscious Canuck, you have to, like, dig. If you want to, like, seriously find, like, you know, a violence that was actually motivated by, like, left-wing ideology, supposedly, you have to, like, you have to fucking dig, okay? Yeah, social activists get cuffed all the time. It's not terrorism. Yeah, but just see the absurdity of how, like, of what she thinks as terrorism, and then, like, what actually is terrorism. They were bad apples that day. Somehow they coincidentally scheduled to work on the same day. It's a left-wing conspiracy. True! It doesn't even look scary. It's just like, bro, really?
Vans, thankfully. And here's some of their signs that they left.
Oh, yeah, you were aware of my promotion. All BUPs report to me now. Gotcha. So you're the Supreme Commander. Gotcha. It was over 11K people arrested in a year over BLM protests, not including all the people they just snatched up in vans and then let go. Yeah, but, like, why did they arrest them, though?
here in the Cannon building. I don't know if we call that an insurrection, left-wing mix.
Oh yeah, dude. Holy shit. Oh man, this just keeps getting better, dude. Mostly people get cuffed for vandalism and breaking curfew. Yep. Doesn't look like terrorism to me. Yeah, dude. Ah, the insurrection of a dozen people asking for an yeah, dude, true. Insurrection is when 12 people ask for action on the climate crisis. True. Yeah. 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 Marjorie forgot the good people on both sides thing. True. All the federal investigative plants and left-wing groups were there to sell weapons and explosives to them, and they all respond, fuck no, go away. Yep. And not only that, even if we take into account, the riots that did happen in BLM, how many of those riots, because like you said, overwhelmingly peaceful, how many of those riots were started by cops? How many of those riots were started by agitators who weren't with the protesters, which was documented and admitted, by the way, by, the people that got caught doing it? Just a thought. This is a good one. Most of those were absolutely protests that were escalated by to riots by police. Yep, I was I was in one of them. I believe the same Harvard studies riots referring saying the vast majority of violence was instigated by the cops. Yep, and those that weren't instigated by the cops, how many of those were instigated by people that were agitators, like we have seen documented?
Extremism, violence. I'm
True,
not
dude.
sure.
Yeah, look at all the violence and left-wing extremism going on. A dozen people got arrested for trespassing because they asked for action on the climate crisis. Gotcha. Meanwhile, back in reality, yeah. 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 There's no point in there's a choice between cuffing the buggers or standing for hours keeping the peace. You mean this reality? Yes, the reality of realities. There we are.
What we call it.
Well, you wouldn't call it violent, Marge, because they were not violent. They were peaceful. You wouldn't call it an insurrection because they did not try to overthrow the government. And promoting workers' rights and racial and economic justice, as the Center for Progressive Democracy does, is not usually considered extreme.
Yeah. Dude, I want fucking healthcare, housing, food, and education. You only had like the archetypes back in the Civil War. It's hard to get many traders to sit still for that long. True. Please know Greens people don't know how to blow up pictures of poster board sizes for a fact. True.
That while we're talking about white supremacy,
yes, please enlighten us. Are we going to talk about like the literal entire report that, hey, that's very interesting. Aren't you like in Congress? Just saying.
Spittlenick, you were talking about white supremacy.
It's Spitalnik.
Oh, I apologize. Spitalnik. Miss Spitalnik, while you were talking about white supremacist and abortion.
Wait, what? Hold on. Who brought up abortion in a extremist hearing? Apparently they can't afford to pay Kinko's to do it either. Does everyone see why having Marjorie Taylor Greene on committee is a bad thing? I mean, like, yeah, usually having like Nazi adjacent far right people in anywhere near government, it's usually a very bad thing.
One gets the sense that Greene is that person at the restaurant who always calls over to the manager and complains. What do you mean I can't get an extra helping of lard on my grits?
I totally agree with you. There's a lot of white supremacists in the...
Oh, here we go. She didn't draw the AR-15s, true. She needed to draw each one of those protesters with like AR-15s. There you go.
Abortion movement.
Oh, here we go. Wait. Is it the Democrats? Let me guess. It's actually the Democrats.
And abortionists, because they have murdered over 20 million black babies in America since Roe versus Wade in 1973.
No.
Yay! Marge looked at her cue card and read the year correctly. Amazing.
So I would agree with you. That could be labeled white supremacy. Or
No. White supremacy is very distinct. It's in the name. The anti-fascists are the real fascists. True, damn it.
Or we could just label it murder. And it should never...
It's not murder? What do you... We can't even... like. We can't even be talking about this because this has nothing to do with fucking extremism that's related to political motivations. No, it's not murder in any sense of the word, right? Because we've done this. We've done this dance with so many fucking clowns that come in here. We've done this dance time and time again. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Heat, how's it going? I don't think I ever said hi. I'm so off today. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I started today way too hot. So, yeah, anyways, anti-abortion activists have literally bombed clinics and murdered doctors. Right. Those are listed as far-right terrorists because they they did violence in the name of political aims. The Nazis were socialists. It's in the name. True, right there.
Be happening. So if you want to talk about white supremacy and the abortion movement, you should really
What are you talking about? What are you on about? I think what she means is she's trying to, like, you know, like the old saying, every accusation is just a confession. She's essentially trying to accuse, I guess, Democrats for being white supremacists because abortion. But that's really freaking weird, because, like, only you went to that conclusion. Only you went to that conclusion. I don't know. I know you are, but what am I? Yep. Why does everyone she questions like this just not laugh in her face? She did. Initially, the witness, like, literally laughed and smirked. For me, she's not funny. She's violent. She's a horrible person with goals. That's literally dangerous. True. I completely understand that.
analyze.
Yes, everyone should laugh at her, but also, like, Rye has a great point. And this has been my position. I think for the majority, like, for the most part, because it is serious. It is serious. Her being in power like this is serious. Her having these meetings and, like, attempting to, like, foment, because, like, again, this is on purpose, folks. Okay, this is on purpose. She's doing this on purpose. And the purpose is to make sure that the people that she's actually talking to get the message.
Is that in your human rights groups that you run as you collect donations from people with your nonprofit? Because I think that is something extremely important to talk about, is the right for those black babies to have lives as American citizens.
But they're not. But they're. If somebody has an abortion, that is not a baby. That is not a life. If somebody has an abortion, it's a choice that they made. There's no person other than the person that made the choice. And furthermore, you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck about black people, about anybody. So spare me. Because you would never vote for more resources to black communities. You would vote for more police. And if you actually cared and took 5 seconds like we did to research the actual problem with political extremism, then you would know that black people are disproportionately affected by this. Who do you think these white supremacists are targeting? who do you think these white supremacists are targeting?
The right for them to be born, the right for them to be given a chance to live as free Americans instead of
You don't give a shit about freedom either. You want to expand the police state. You would vote to expand the police state. Okay, Howdo, how's it going? Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Folks, if you guys have not been in this channel before, I am a difficult truth. I do the news, I do the politics, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys enjoy your stay, make sure you hit the follow button and feel free to hang out. Also, while you're here, if you guys have a moment, there are a couple of shoutouts here. First and foremost, thank you so much, K-How, for the raid. I appreciate it. Please feel free to click the link there, the shoutout link. Please also feel free to follow Carpet Packs, twitch.tv/Carpet Packs. There's a couple of diamonds out here in chat. Please feel free to follow twitch.tv/AlioShare. So generally, if you see a diamond, generally, chances are they are some kind of content creator or artist, or VIP when it comes to link privileges.
murder. You think this is funny, Miss Batalnik? Is this
Oh wait, Buff Commander, there it is right there. She's laughing at her.
funny to you? Is babies being murdered in the womb funny to you? Because you're smirking and laughing at me right now.
Congresswoman, a lot of people smirk and laugh at you. It happens all the time. But these days, you are freaking out even more than usual. What's going on? Oh, that's right. Donald Trump is telling Republicans you will not be his running mate. That must hurt you, Marge. But don't worry, Speaker Kevin McCarthy owes you, and under his House leadership, you will always have a place on these House committees. And the American people will constantly be reminded that just when we think our elected leaders could not get any dumber, you will get the opportunity to speak and once again set the standard. By the way, a GOP House committee chair just got humiliated by whiffing on the Biden investigation.
The latest from James Comer coming up in a few hours.
Fox and Friends started.
All right, yeah, this is some other stuff, but this is a good meme. Good memes. Good memes. Glad we could find that video. All right, folks. Let's see if we can get through some of this as fast as possible. So we'll just kind of like speed run through some of these. U.S. Judge Appeals expressed support for opponents of the abortion pill. So right now, remember the case that we've been following with regards to the abortion pill that conservatives want to ban, or want to basically make it damn near impossible to get. They're right now in front of a appeals court, which unfortunately is stacked, like all of them, with conservative judges. So it's not looking good. So we'll see what the final decision is here, but it's not looking good. We've been following this case, and every time we get an update, I do talk about it. So the update is that, yes, it is currently in front of federal appeals court. However, unfortunately, the judges that are in this appeal court are all GOP judges. So, yeah. This is what happens when Republicans win power. Let's see. Quick. Lowercase W. Florida Dems flipped the Jacksonville mayor's office in a major upset. So that's cool. Democrat Donna Deegan won the Jacksonville mayor, which is the largest city. Yeah, largest city, I think, in Florida. So is it some kind of glimmer of hope? A little bit. Anytime a Republican gets removed from power, it is always a good thing, okay? Every time a Republican gets yeeted out of office, especially at these local and state levels, every time a Republican loses, it's a good thing. It's just objectively a good thing. Regardless of what you feel about the Democratic Party, regardless of how shitty the Democratic Party is, understood. Yeah, the point being is every time a Republican loses a position of power, whether it be mayoral, city council, state legislator, state senator, governor, whatever, as long as Republicans lose elections, it is just objectively a lowercase w. And will they do anything with this win? I mean, let's just take one step at a time, okay? These are the same people that ran Charlie Crist, okay? The Democratic Party in Florida is the same, like, these are the people that ran Charlie Crist. I'm just saying, we'll just take those small lowercase w's as it comes. Banning those has to affect Big Pharma. Do our corporate overlords have any power over these cooked appeal judges? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Florida was very purple not that long ago. True. Yeah. It's very true, but now it seems very, very red. Could that change? Yeah. Can the Democratic Party capitalize on this? I don't know, but I can trust them to fumble a very perfectly winnable like scenario. So because they have in the past. So who knows? Will they capitalize on this like Bob Commander said? I don't know. Will they use that to do to keep that momentum? I don't know. These are the same people that like ran Charlie Crist. So I don't know. But yes, you are right. Florida was very purple not that long ago. All I know is that trans people should get the F out of Florida. I mean, if you have the ability and means, or can find support groups that are working on projects like this, yeah, I would definitely try. Democrats rarely miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. Yeah. Yeah. That should be written on like the Democratic like motto. By the way, sorry the simulacra, I came in way too hot at you. This whole thing really has me riled up. Deegan did win with a couple of did win with a piece of the R votes according. Yeah, I mean she had to, right? I mean a portion of it. But yeah, like you can trust the Democratic Party to fumble shit right at the perfect moment. What is the saying? It's not snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory, but snatching victory out of the jaws of... Wait, no. It's snapping defeat out of the jaws of victory. That's like the classic. The classic. That's like the classic Democratic move. Snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. there weren't enough D's in the Jacksonville to win alone. Yeah, no, I mean, mostly that's how it is, right? Like when it comes to more generalized elections, like when you're talking about mayors, governors, what's it called? Presidents. Yeah, you are going to need a sloth of the R's to win an election, right? Because like representatives, like state representatives and stuff, they can gerrymander and carve out their districts, right? The same with national representatives. It's not the same with like mayoral candidates or governors or whatnot. But that's preferable to full speed ahead religious conservative legislation. Oh yeah, that's exactly it. That's the only reason. Like, listen, we have to play things strategic because, like we were talking about earlier, and like the kind of thing that like really worries me and like has me, I guess, anxious, is the fact that like I am completely convinced, based not based on like feelings, not based on like some random conspiracy theory that I managed to pull out of my beanie, but like the way the Republican Party has been moving at the speed that they've been moving. The fact that like in the year of our Lord in 2023, you have fucking like Nazis marching around that we went over. Was it yesterday? Fuck. Or the day before? Where we had literal fucking Nazis, just 150 of them, just fucking marching around. The fact that like we have the other couple weeks ago, we had like that fucking other Nazi rally, where these fuckers were out there waving big ass like fucking swastikas. And shit, like, I mean, like, it's just, I'm actually, like, very concerned. I'm actually very concerned. It's mostly the same Nazis, though. I mean, yes, but also, this is more prominent, and I think there's more of them than we'd like to, see. Like, the people that were in Ohio were different groups than like Patriot Front. You know what I'm saying? That are appearing in like the fucking Capitol. No, not just in Idaho. In Ohio, there was Patriot Front that went to Washington, to DC. Like these Proud Boy people, these Proud Boys are, they've got a decent sized number. The Proud Boys are pretty decently sized. Don't underestimate them. The Proud Boys are pretty, they've got a decent size. I'm not saying they're huge, but I'm saying they've got a decent size. In terms of like numbers. Point being is that like we're seeing way more of this at an alarming rate. We have like, what's worst of all, it's like these aren't just like clowns that are showing up to do this. Like fucking like hate march, but we have people in office, elected officials, who are having like dinners. We had the fucking former president of the United States having dinner with fucking neo-Nazis. I mean, like, damn, we've had Marjorie Taylor Greene being introduced by that same neo-Nazi. And then trying to claim that she doesn't know who he was. She didn't know who Nick Fuentes was. It's weird because they act as if no one is afraid to be around Proud Boy types. I am terrified and I have no reason to be. I'm not saying like I'm quivering in my boots because of these people. I'm saying that like the movement, this far right movement is getting big. Too big. Too big. It has elected members in Congress. It has people in Congress. This movement has people in Congress. This movement has a potential president as a front runner and has a chance to win the White House again. This movement literally marches down Florida with swastikas and is not being denounced by another presidential candidate who, as of right now, if a hypothetical matchup happened between DeSantis and Biden, DeSantis has a chance to win, folks. With a name like Fuentes, he can't be a white supremacist. True. I mean, we've got these people, literal fucking neo-Nazis, doing like mass shootings. There's Nazis in my city too. Most people know where they live. Damn. A lot of people are ideologically captured by white Christian nationalism and conspiracies. Yep. I have very little confidence that Biden will win regardless of who he's up against. It's looking a little dicey, okay? Let's get in touch with reality. It does look a little dicey. And here's the kicker. Above Commander. If there is a scenario, because this is already as close as it is, as this race is as close as it is, if Biden wins and Biden ekes out a victory, these people are going to lose their collective shit. And January 6th might be seen as like nothing compared to what they feel like, because it's one thing when they felt like the election was rigged after being primed for months and months and months by Trump. Now it's been years, 3 years of priming, of saying the same thing over and over again. It was rigged, 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 it was rigged. If Biden ekes out a victory and it ends up being a super close race, which already it is as it stands, oh man. Whew. Insurrection 2.0, yeah. And I have a feeling that it would be worse. A reaction by these people, in the event that Biden ekes out a victory because it was a close election and it got down to the wire, they're gonna really believe, as it already stands, they do believe that in their hearts and in their minds, they can't see anything else but what they want to see. And the dear leader has been talking about this for 3 years. I mean, evil wins when good stands by and does nothing. Yep. Deegan came into Election Day as the decided underdog against Republican Daniel Davis, who is the head of the city's Chamber of Commerce, had a significant fundraising advantage. He was endorsed by Governor DeSantis, but that support was lukewarm. DeSantis did not do events with Davis or put his political muscle behind his candidacy. Does DeSantis have his army yet? I don't know if it's already formed, or because that takes time. If it was passed, yeah, I think it was passed, but that takes time, right? Hold on. Florida. Oh, it's called the Florida State Guard. This was January. Oh, this is a good meme. Damn. Florida State Guard could triple in size and gain military police-like arm. Hey, that's nice. That's not concerning at all. An expansion of the Florida State Guard created last year to supplement the Florida National Guard, which suffers from low capacity and is subject to being nationalized and sent away to foreign conflicts, would include a specialized unit with power to arrest civilians if deployed by the governor. Oh man, no red flags there, huh? He's sending the National Guard to Texas-Mexico border right now, which I'm pretty sure any Florida National Guard member could refuse an unlawful. Yeah. This is the state guard though. This is separate. That's only under the control of like the governor, the executive of Florida. Now apparently, not only is it going to triple in size, but it's going to get a special unit, which has law enforcement capability apparently. Which includes a specialized unit with power to arrest civilians if deployed by the governor during a meeting of the Senate Appropriations Committee. A bill sponsored by Brian Avila, the Republican from Dade County. Cool. Described the unit as sort of a military police law enforcement type of entity. And certainly in times of natural disaster, you need to stabilize the situation. You need to have a force to augment, any type of local capabilities, whether it's the sheriff's office or police department. Or why not? If you really feel that way, why don't you let the counties decide whether or not that's necessary, and talk with local authorities? Another 2024 poll finds Ron DeSantis below 20% ahead of campaign launch. We'll see. Bad timing if fast release starts to manifest. The power hungry and power worshipping in other states will follow Florida playbook. Yeah, I mean, usually if plans like this are rolled out and they are successful, usually you'll start seeing copycats. See the abortion legislation from like Texas. It started propagating itself in other states. True, our natural disaster guard needs military weapons to shoot hurricanes down. True. Biden is sending military to the border right now for logistics stuff to free up CBP for enforcement. Yeah, I mean, like, this is one thing that I will 100% agree with. The foreign policy and like all these fucking like, xenophobic, like racist people, they're like, Biden's having the border open, borders, brown people. Like these people, like, dude, Biden's immigration policy is like, save like 2 or 3 things, that it's basically been the same. A lot of states had those abortion laws ready and waiting. Yeah, no, what I mean is like, when they try something, an example would be the Texas law that bypassed at the time Roe v. Wade by giving citizens, by essentially like deputizing citizens to file lawsuits against people who have had abortions or aided abortions. Once that kicked off and was like a viable blueprint, other states started doing the same thing, right? That's what things like that is what I'm talking about. From CNN, DeSantis nears presidential campaign launch for far from peak popularity, but signaling a new readiness to take on Trump. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he can beat Trump in terms of the primary. It is still early. Yep. But just to be clear, I don't want someone worse than Trump to win either. I don't want someone to I don't want someone to worse to it's really not a good position to be in. Not a good position to be in when you have like the incompetent like Democratic Party fumbling around and the possible contenders are both incredibly dangerous in their own right, one being a little bit more dangerous than the other though. McConnell falling in line with McCarthy and the Freaks does not bode well for Trump getting elected again. What they will support, maybe. Is it DNC putting up Harris as president? No, I don't know what's. No. This is pretty much like I think that it's safe to say that Biden is going to be the Democratic nominee. I think that like just whatever you may think, whatever you may feel, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that Biden is probably going to end up being the nominee. I mean, it seems like that's what they want to run with. Is it the good choice? Is it the best choice? No. But here we are. If they elect DeSantis in the primary, it would take away from the narrative that Trump had his second term stolen. Huh. You think so? I mean, like these people. It doesn't. I don't think these people care. I don't think these people care. I think that they will literally say that the election was rigged till the end. I mean, like people like Laura Loomer were even saying that the Republican primaries were rigged because she lost. If there was an upset where DeSantis beats Trump, they'll just say it was rigged against Trump. They'll just say that the primary was rigged against them. If something does happen to him health-wise, Harris would probably be the presumptive nominee. Probably. No one is doing any debates. Okay. Are they going to do like presidential debates? The only way they won't say it is if they win, and sure as shit hope that doesn't happen. Yeah. Like I said, we're in a very scary, like if you like think that I'm being like super extra, it's for a reason. It's for a reason because it's the situation, to put it mildly, is fucked. And even if we find ourselves in a situation where Biden wins, that isn't exactly the best position to put ourselves in either. Because in 2028, depending on how things go, if it's not too bad for DeSantis, if he takes another shot at it in 2028, and we have like the Democratic Party still fumbling and giving us these garbage candidates, and the Democratic Party keeps giving us these garbage candidates, or does another fucking does like another, like, I don't know, shenanigans like they've been known to do, and basically angers. I think that might be the last straw. That angers whatever semblance of like people that are going to be still willing to vote for them. And like 2028, might be even. I know. Every election is like critical. Yeah. But like 2028 might be the might be the checkmate, depending on how things turn out here. Because the DeSantis presidency is is deeply fucking disturbing. We're not in the worst timeline. Imagine Trump winning in 2020. I don't know. I mean, yeah, of course, that would have been worse than the timeline we are now. But who knows? You're talking to a passing non-binary person, but yeah, no, not the worst timeline. No, it's pretty fucked. It is pretty fucked. If you're just talking about like one election cycle, you know, yay, we avoided for a brief moment some really bad shit, but no, the timeline is still fucked. to put it mildly, the timeline is fucked. By the way, excellent call in the majority report, sir, from McGrady. I'm glad you got in. We are effed. I won't vote for Democrats this cycle, and I'm pushing that idea at everyone. I mean, like, my counter to that, which, like, it rustles my jimmies, okay? I know it's, like, old internet speak, but whatever. It triggers me because, like, I'm not viewing this in the lens of, like, we need to support the Democratic Party because they're the Democratic Party. Like, I'm viewing this as a like last resort. I'm literally viewing this as like a last resort, as a survival method. That's basically the way I see it. And I don't think that it's an exaggeration to say that. Does that make sense? I was happy to talk about that and glad that Sam brought it up. The result of that election was so good, and I'm super glad about that. Nice. How many votes will you have to vote that way until the Republican Party changes? No, the Republican Party isn't going to change. I'm not banking on them changing. I'm banking on them getting worse. Or I'm betting on them getting worse. They're all driving us quickly towards a climate change apocalypse. Not wrong. We're just surviving now. Yes. But I fear that I fear that, like, what we're looking at in terms of, like, having the prospect of having a prospect of a Republican president, House, Senate, and the Supreme Court scares me more than I am more than my anger at the Democratic Party. Does that make sense? I hope I worded that in an understandable fashion. I'm more scared of the prospect of, like, a full, like, Republican win than I am my anger at the Democratic Party. True. At this point, we are well past Trump. His delusions are well in line with the general Republican electorate. Y'all need to seriously do some phone banking. Yep. The Republicans are pedal to the metal while Democrats are coasting downhill in neutral. Yes, while giving us time, well, how little it may be. I had a daydream that I tossed Kirsten Sinema off one of the bridges in a lake in Minecraft. Oh, man. Not voting removes yourself from the electoral calculus, therefore they don't have to do anything with you. Yes, that's true. All right. Yeah, I do see that it's past 7 o'clock. The right takes the opportunity to read the cult personality power, and they underestimate the I don't know if they underestimate it. They just think that it's not going to be... What does that mean? It's like, oh... and that's why you should vote for the leopard eating your face party, and then like the little deer's like, but not my face, right? Jesus, Buff Commander. Alright, really quickly, because I have to like fire through this. Yeah. So it's much worse than I originally thought. Yeah, this is scary stuff. This is really scary stuff. We're gonna keep an eye on this. Lowercase w, we already went over this. So, I wish I had more time to go over most of this, but by the end of March, surface temperatures of the world's ocean was above anything seen in 40 years since that satellites have been measuring it. So we're heading off into uncharted territory, and we don't know just how F the situation is, because yes, the ocean is a huge factor in absorbing heat. But that only goes so far. And that also means, because the oceans are absorbing all this heat, that ice, which translates to sea level rise, which leads to other stuff, a warmer ocean, more stronger hurricanes and things like that. It's not good. A technical chart in a chapter of the latest UN climate assessment laid out the unfathomable heat gain. Between 71 and 2008, the ocean had gained 396 zetajoules of heat. Oh my god. Exactly. Sea level rise is bad, but sinks Florida, which is good. The 97-98 El Nino was wild. I was a very young child at that time. How much heat is that? Scientists have calculated it's the equivalent energy of 25 billion Hiroshima atomic bombs. And the heat gain is just accelerating. Climate deniers use charts based on around 97 or 98 for over a decade because it skews the data. The ocean has acted like the planet's air conditioner, relentlessly absorbing extra heat, but that air conditioner isn't just passive, it's not a free service. Adding that heat comes with ocean acidification, rising sea level changes, and frequency in extreme weather, which is what I was saying, just not as succinctly. Which ocean acidification causes a myriad of domino effects. The coral, it affects other stuff as well. Plankton, which if the plankton go, that's a big deal. Rising sea levels, that's a big problem. Changes in the frequency and strength of extreme weather like hurricanes, also a problem. Plus it's an apocalypse for the sea ecosystems, which keep us alive. It's part of what keeps us alive. The effects of extra heat are almost everywhere. As the ocean heats up, it expands, pushing sea levels around the globe. Just over 1/3 of the rise in global sea levels is down to thermal expansion. Good thing the Dems are taking climate and ecology seriously. True. They're getting on it. They're getting right on it by opening more drilling sites. Yeah. More heat means more marine heat waves that devastate marine ecosystems, causing bleaching. Yep. on coral reefs, killing underwater plants that act like forests, providing habitats for marine life, and acting as nurseries for fishings. Yep. Ocean heating could also radically alter marine food webs with warmer conditions, favoring small species and algae at the expense of larger species that humans tend to eat. Yep, turns out we kind of, depend on this. It's not just this ephemeral thing like, oh, the environment. No, man, we yes, but also we depend on it. No new oil, well, except the ones that we allow, and by we, I mean ConocoPhillips. Yeah, Senator Whitehouse needs to run and create a movement like Bernie did. I mean, it would be nice if we had that type of energy in a younger candidate. Can someone like Whitehouse create that? I don't know. 1816 eruption reduced global temperature by 1 degree. Sheesh. A Beckosphere shout out. Yeah, she's the one that does the climate stuff. But I have not forgotten. In that deep ocean where species have adapted to stable temperatures, scientists said warming there in the coming decades could devastate marine life. Around the tropics where oceans are warmest, scientists have found species already migrating towards the poles to find cooler waters, but with no other species to be able to take their place, they leave behind waters stripped of marine life. Yeah, so TLDR, this is really bad. This is all to say that the situation's pretty bad in terms of like where we're going. More likely than not, the world will soon see the 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming. In other words, that supposed threshold. So we need a pyroclastic winter. Yes. Dystopian times, you don't say? Yeah. We have a 2.5 degree warming since 1880, so we just need 1 to 2 volcanic winters to fix it. There you go. Now we're talking. So remember that specific, metric, the 1.5 degrees that we've been repeatedly told that we should probably try to avoid because we don't know from there how fast or how much longer we can push things before tipping points that we can't reverse happen. Yeah, that one. For the first time ever, global temperatures are now moving more likely than not to breach that 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming within the next 5 years. Oh, that's nice. Less than 2030. When most of whatever semblance of bullshit we keep hearing about action even begins to start happening. Yay. Within the next 5 years, the World Meteorological Organization said on Wednesday, this does not mean the world would cross the long-term warming threshold of 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels set up. Oh, wait. Hold on. This does not mean the world would cross the long-term warming threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius pre-industrial levels, but a year of warming at 1.5 could offer a glimpse of what crossing that longer term threshold. Oh, okay. So we're talking. Okay, now I understand. So what they're saying is that we shouldn't coast above that threshold. That 1.5 degrees shouldn't be the normal, because if that happens, we are at more risk of pushing tipping points that then we cannot reverse. Yeah, okay, understood. But a year of this warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius could offer a glimpse of what crossing that threshold would look like. With a 66% chance of temporarily reaching 1.5 by 2027, it is the first time in history that it's more likely than not that we will exceed that 1.5. Adam Scafie, head of the long-range prediction at Britain's Met Office, Hatley Center, who worked on WMO's latest global annual decade climate update. The last year's report puts us at 50-50. Oh man, 50-50? Wow. Yikes. Even if temporarily reaching 1.5 is an indication that we should is an indication that as we start having these years with 1.5 happening more and more often, then we are getting closer to having that actual long-term climate be on that threshold, which is what we're trying to avoid. Okay, understood. That's not good. It also means the world has failed to make sufficient progress on slashing climate warming greenhouse gas emissions. Yeah. Yes. No one is taking any of this serious. A lot of like the whatever semblance of legislation that has been proposed and failed wouldn't even start working until 2030. Which is incredibly upsetting. El Nino will combine with human-induced climate change to push global temperatures into uncharted territory. A mid-year switch to El Nino is worrying scientists across the world. The weather phenomenon, while distinct from climate change, is likely to boost extremes and bring warmer weather to North America and drought to South America, with the Amazon greater risk of bad fires. Which, yeah, that's not good. Droughts in South America, not good either. The likelihood of temporarily exceeding that 1.5 has increased over time. Scientists had estimated just a 10% chance of hitting that 1.5 between 2017 and 2021, for example. Unlike the UN IPCC, which are based on future greenhouse gas emissions, the WMO update provides more of a prediction based on long-range weather forecasts. The WMO also found a 98% chance that one of the next 5 years will be the hottest on record, surpassing 2016, which saw a global temperature impacted about 1.3 degrees Celsius of warming. This report must be a rallying cry to intensify global efforts to tackle the climate crisis. No, it won't be. It won't be. Elon Musk tweets that he wants to use SpaceX rockets to nuke Mount Tambora to facilitate a nuclear and volcanic wind. What? Absurd. 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 Alright, folks. Tomorrow we're going to have to do the other two stories. So I'm going to have to put a pin on some of these over here. Because I have to get going. I am hungry. And also my voice is completely shot. Operation Plowshares. Yes, okay, I remember that memo for the record. It just clicked in my head. Jesus Christ. Alright. Folks, I gotta get going. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you guys so much. If you guys enjoy the content and you guys want to help support the channel, hit the follow button if you haven't already. Or if you can't support the channel monetarily and you want to help the channel out, why don't you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel? It really does help us out. Spread the word. We're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Bring a buddy. Thank you, Bob Commander. Thank you, Religious Fruitcake. Thank you, Alio. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you, the Simulacra. Thank you, SV Harkin, Memo for the Record, Surfer McGritty, Carpet Packs. I know I'm missing somebody. The Simulacra, Michael Hassler, thank you for keeping the peace in the chat. Religious Fruitcake, thank you so much for mixing it up in the chat. I think I got everybody. Sharpie Diesel, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Just making sure I got everybody. Rest up and feel better. I'm good. It's just my throat is just too much talking. Because my job is being on the phone all day. So, yeah. Too much talking. I need to take a break. Alright, folks. Tomorrow we have those two kind of stories coming up. And we'll go from there. Hot beverage. There you go. As always, folks, don't forget, like, follow, like, do the subscriptions on the YouTube, all that awesome stuff. We'll be here tomorrow. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya. That's right, with honey. Alright, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.